Hi, students. We're going to go over your density word problems. So check your work as we go. Remember, each question is worth 4 points. How you get complete credit is if you show all of your work, it's 2 points. And if you get the answer right with units, it's another 2 points. If you did not show your work, if you just showed some of your work, you will get 1 point. If you got it right, you still get 4 points, okay? I'm sorry, 2 points. So partial credit would be 3 points per question if you showed just part of your work. If you didn't get it right, you will get 1 point, okay? But if you did show your work, you get 2 points for that, okay? So just keep in mind the criteria. To get full credit, you have to show all of your work and get your answer right with the unit correct. If any of that's not there, you get partial credit, which is 1 point for showing your work and 1 point for getting the answer correct. So the first one says, we have an object with a density of 620.5 grams per cubic centimeter and a volume of 75.5 cubic centimeter. What is the mass of this object? All right, so the first thing we always do is circle your known values and underline your units or the variable. So we know that this is the unit for the variable density. And this is the value for volume and the unit for volume. Okay, so we have the density and the volume. And we're trying to find the mass. We box in what you're trying to solve. And then we want to remember to round your answer because your answer can only be as accurate as the least accurate measurement. All right. So the next thing we do is write out a list of our variables over here. So we know density is equal to 620.5 grams per cubic centimeter. We know volume is equal to 75.5 cubic centimeters. Please remember to include units with all your variables. And we're trying to solve for the mass. So we'll put a question mark there. That's the unknown variable. So remembering your triangle for density, this will act as a visual to help you. Density is mass divided by volume. We're solving for mass. So we cover out the one we're trying to solve for. You can see that the other two variables are side by side, which means that we have a multiplication problem. So we write out our formula. Mass is equal to density times volume. And then we substitute. Our density value and unit is 620.5 grams per cubic centimeter. Our volume is 75.5 cubic centimeters. And then we solve. You can see by adding your units here that the centimeters cubed cancel out, okay, because you have here it's on top of the fraction, here it's in the bottom of the fraction. And we're left with grams, which is right because mass, a unit for mass is grams. And when you put that in the calculator, you should have gotten 46,847. And we want to round to the tenths because these two measurements are to the tenths place, which means we'll have 0.8 grams. And then circle your answer. Number 2, what would the mass of this answer be in kilograms? So we need to convert grams to kilograms. So 46,847.8 grams is equal to how many kilograms? So remember your ladder method. Kilo, hecto, deca, then you have your base unit, deci, centi, milli. Our base unit in this case is grams, and we're trying to get to kilograms. So we're starting at the base and we're working our way to kilo. So that means we have to move our decimal 1, 2, 3 to the left. That's all we're moving is the decimal. 1, 2, 3 to the left. And you can drop the other values because our answer can only be as accurate as our least accurate measurement. But if you added the other ones, I'm not taking off. But if you have 46.8 kilograms, awesome. You could also have had 46.8478 if you want to hang on to those digits, okay? Now, in some of these worksheets, I had this as milligrams, okay? So if you have a worksheet that has milligrams instead, we would be going, we're trying to solve what this would be in milligrams. And we are trying to go to that way we'll go to the right now. So from grams to milli, it's 1, 2, 3 to the right. So you'd move your decimal. You write it down here. Your decimal's here. We got to move it to the right 3 places, which would be 1, 2, 3 to the right. And then those troughs you'd fill in with zeros. Okay. That's a big number, right? 4, 6, 8, 4, 7, 8, 0, 0. And because it's such a big number, if you want to show this with scientific notation, you can do that, okay? Really big numbers like this work well written in scientific notation. So to remind you how to do that, our decimal's here. So we're going to count over as many places we go until we get to a number that's between 1 and 9. Because in scientific notation, your first number is a number between 1 and 9. So 4.6 would be our number. And however many places we need to move it to is our power. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be 4.6 times 10 to the 7th milligrams. Okay, so I just wanted to review scientific notation for those of you that had a different question for number 2. But depending on which question you had, just make sure you have the right answer. All right, number 3, a 500.6 gram piece of metal has a volume of 2.7 cubic centimeters. What is its density? All right, so we know our mass is 500.6 grams. Our volume is 2.7 cubic centimeters, and we're trying to solve for density. Density, looking at our formula, cross out what we're trying to solve for. Let's write it off to the side here. Mass divided by volume, because mass is on top. So let's write out our formula first. Substitute our values that are known with our units. And solve. So using our calculator, you should have gotten 185.4 grams per cubic centimeters, which is a unit for density. And circle your answer. Remember, it should be to the tens place because our measurements here are to the tens place as well. All right, a block of wood has a mass of 180.6 grams. It's 10.1 centimeters long, 6.2 centimeters wide, and 4.6 centimeters thick. What is its density? All right, so our grams is our mass value. That's the unit for grams, is 180.6 grams. And we have 3 measurements here for the length, width, and height of the block of wood. And remembering what we did when we did the measurement lab, the volume of a regular shaped object is its length times its width times its height. So we have to multiply those 3 values together. So length is 10.1 centimeters times 6.2 centimeters times 4.6 centimeters. And when you multiply them out, you remember to round to the tens place. you should have gotten a volume of 288.1 cubic centimeters. Right? We're trying to solve for density. So our formula is the same as number 3. Density is mass divided by volume. The mass of the block of wood was 180.6 grams. Its volume was 288.1 cubic centimeters. All right. Divide that and you would have gotten 0.6 because you want to round to the least accurate measurement, which is to the tens place, and add your units. Your units do not cancel out. You're left with grams over cubic centimeters. So carry them through into your answer to get the appropriate unit for density. That's a G, grams. All right, next one. A cube measures 3.2 centimeters on each side and has a mass of 25.4 grams. What is its density? All right, so we have our mass of 25.4 grams and a cube. Remember, a cube means that every side is going to be the same length. So in order to get the volume of a cube, we have to multiply that 3 times, that number 3 times. So remember, volume is length times width times height. So we take 3.2 centimeters times 3.2 centimeters times 3.2 centimeters. And that will give you 32.8 cubic centimeters because we have 3 centimeters that we're multiplying together. And we're trying to solve for density. Remember, density is mass over volume. And now just plug in our numbers. 25.4 grams divided by 32.8 cubic centimeters. When you do the division on that, you should have gotten 0.8, and then you carry your units into your answer. No units cancel out. In this case, we have grams on the top divided by cubic centimeters on the bottom. So you want to show those units as well. You should have gotten 0.8 grams per cubic centimeter. So there you go. Hope you all did good.